data, AI, and cloud basically drive banking and capital markets, right? Which means that the catalyst in the industry is larger data sets. You've got much more data that's available now than was available even a decade ago. You see all kinds of scientific studies by the likes of a Gartner or like Forrester, which say that mankind or humanity is basically producing more data in the last 10 years than we did up until then from the beginning where records were kept. You have the massive volume of data, but you also have a variety of different data. Right. So this could be in the case of banking, business process data, ticker data, social media data, sensor data, so on and so forth, public contract data, and, annual report data. And then you have an ability to do more powerful analytics and visualization of the data to understand different aspects of the data. And what enables all of this is cloud computing, right? The fact that banks now don't have to live with infamous 40 days to get a virtual machine or a unit of compute to provision an application. They can do that, instantaneously using a cloud provider like AWS. That's what is basically driving a lot of this capability to experiment and to drive customer outcomes. All that being said, what have we seen at banks, right? We'll talk about some of these elements as we go along. But number one, inefficient banking system, right? Core banking, which is, you'll see a section called hollow the core here, which is a term used for taking, monolithic core banking platform, which is typically built on a mainframe, and componentizing it down to microservices so that you have more speed and flexibility, and basically to drive better business processes, right? That a legacy system couldn't do. You also have a lot of fragmentation along the data elements. So I like to use the term book of record transaction systems, which are, storing customer data. This could be trading data, lending data, which are a lot of fragmentation happens in these different systems, as well as fragmentation enterprise system, right? Now, there's multiple risk systems, multiple general ledgers, multiple compliance systems. And for a while, we've been, industry leaders have been pushing for a unified data lake where you can then apply, where you all kinds of cross-banking data onboarded with appropriate controls that are now implemented. And using that, you want to drive a higher degree of data quality, more data accuracy, so that you can eliminate a lot of the errors, inconsistencies, and duplications. It is not uncommon in Fortune 20 banks to have spaghetti system integration, which we'll talk about, where there's so many pipes and feeds that are being fed in, that are pulling data out of different systems, that no one can guarantee the quality of the data, right? So that is the problem and a fragmentation that has to be dealt with by industry leaders like you all. And typically, a lot of proprietary vendor in-house built solutions have been acquired over the years, which has built up a significant amount of technological debt. And over time, banks have not been able to keep progress with technology. One major thing that I always advocated was to combine fraud and fraud systems into one platform across different lines, where applicable, right? Where regulators permit that. That's basically to gain that total picture of operations as a bank. And again, cost is still paramount in this economic environment. You want to save on cost, whether that's your core banking stack, whether that's your fraud detection systems, your anti-money laundering, your risk tech, so on and so forth. But you also want to drive a higher degree of scalability in your operations.